And among all the networks, all the big ones, among NBC, which is our parent company, and ABC and CBS and Fox, you know who's number one right now? None of them. Look at the number one most watched network in the whole country right now. Ta-da! Univision. For the month of July, the Spanish-language network Univision has had more viewers under the age of 50 than CBS, than NBC, than Fox, than everybody. They put out an open letter to all the other networks taunting them with the news today. Numero uno is the new number one. We are the new American reality. And then to add injury to the insult, they ran that open letter in the New York Times where everybody could see it. And yes, this is of competitive interest if you care about competitive interest in the TV business, which you probably don't. But even if you don't, this is also of huge political interest for everyone in the country. Because what is happening on the most watched TV channel, the most watched TV network in the whole country, is that their flagship politics show is doing interviews now with Republican congressmen about whether or not those Republicans really do think that immigrants are like dogs. And they ought to be thought of as such by native-born Americans.
In a town hall meeting in Iowa, you actually compare immigrants to dogs. And many
I thought you would probably repeat yourself on that. I've told you, if you watched that video, you would know that was a speech celebrating legal immigrants. Legal, not illegal immigrants, legal immigrants. And I said they are the cream of the crop. It's the vigor of America that comes because people from all donor civilizations on the planet want to come here. They dream. We get the best
so
that any
you don't want to
country has
apologize for that
because of that. That was the speech, and it's been mischaracterized by people on the left. It's been intentionally and dishonestly done so to drive wedges between people on the base of race.
So
and
you
I think it's a sin to do that, Jorge.
So from your point of view, you actually did not compare immigrants to dogs.
I said that speech was about the vigor of legal immigration. It was a very complimentary speech, and no, I did not do that. I did not do that. And you should go back and look at the video. In fact, show the whole video on Univision, and you'll know that.
It is, you know, it is not complimentary to compare a group of people,
I didn't do that if you watch.
It is not complimentary to compare a group of people to animals. Can we agree on that? You probably suspect this by now, but the Univision anchor there, Jorge Ramos, is the one who's right in that fight, and Steve King is wrong. Cue the Republican congressman compares immigrants to dogs. Tape, please.
You want a good bird dog, and you want one that's going to be aggressive, pick the one that's the friskiest, the one that's engaged the most, and not the one that's over there sleeping in the corner. If you want a pet to sit on the couch, it's the one that's sleeping in the corner. You get the pick of the litter, and you've got yourself a pretty good bird dog. Well, we got the pick of every donor civilization on the planet because it's hard to get here. They had to be inspired to come. We got the vigor from the planet to come to America.
See, immigrants, they're the frisky kind of dog. And when you pick your immigrant, make sure you pick yourself a frisky dog immigrant, not a lazy dog immigrant, America, because immigrants are just like dogs. Steve King said that thing about immigrants and dogs last year. This weekend, on the most watched television network in the country, on Univision, anchor Jorge Ramos went back at Steve King for it again and again and again, making sure that the congressman did not want to apologize for comparing immigrants to dogs. The congressman did not want to apologize for it. He wanted to keep explaining on the most watched TV network in the country in any language why he and other Republicans are opposed to immigration reform. Tomorrow, the House of Representatives takes up immigration reform again, a subcommittee that Steve King is on, as it happens. And so we will get to hear those kinds of arguments again. Those things are supposed to be not as raw, not as out in the open in the U.S. Senate as they are sometimes in the House. But in the Senate, the no side has been pretty out there as well. Republican Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama was reportedly working the crowd last week in D.C., and Republican Senator Ted Cruz was on the list of speakers at this Republican rally against immigration reform when talk turned to immigrants having donkey DNA.
From those incredible bloodlines of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and John Smith, and all these great Americans and Martin Luther King, these great Americans that built this country, you came from them. And the unique thing about being from that part of the world, when you learn about breeding, is you learn that you cannot breed Secretariat to a donkey and expect to win the Kentucky Derby. You guys have incredible DNA, and don't forget it.
See, donkey DNA crossing with American good DNA, that's why we can't have immigration reform. Senator Jeff Sessions, Senator Ted Cruz, Congressmen, immigrants are like dogs, Steve King, all were billed as part of that rally on Capitol Hill. The reporter for The Nation who captured that audio said that Jeff Sessions was standing right next to him when he did it, glad-handing the crowd while the donkey DNA thing resonated.